Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Maybe you're familiar with this little development that there are many thousands of Ukrainian troops that are trained in the Western countries in Europe. Not only Western countries, but trained in Germany, Great Britain, even in Romania, in countries. And that there are a lot of foreign instructors who help these troops to be trained. There are tens of thousands of Ukrainian troops that are not on the front, but they are training because they can afford doing that. And in about 2 months, no more than 2 months, we will start hearing or reading from the mass media, the good mass media, that now they are trained, they're very good trained, and they will come back and they will operate the Western weapons, tanks, the fighter jets, the long-range missile systems, the Patriot batteries, all these Ukrainians that were trained, including the United States of America. But these Ukrainians, when they return, they will speak many foreign languages. And they will not come 50,000 as they say they're about over there, 30,000 here, blah, blah, blah. They will probably come about 80,000. In the meantime, they worked hard in Europe. And when they come back, as I said, they will operate this. On top of this, it's that Ukrainian volunteer, not the Foreign Legion, the International Foreign Legion with all these volunteers from overseas and so on helping Ukraine. But if you remember, the Ukrainian government instituted I think it's called the volunteer assault or offensive troops or something like that, where people who were somehow not mobilized in Ukrainians' general mobilization decide to volunteer. They will come and fight for their motherland. And about 2 weeks ago, there were about 20,000 volunteers. Now, I don't know how many of these new volunteers, speak other languages besides Ukraine, or not at all Ukraine. But I expect that to increase to about 80,000 people that would be moved to the front as the ones from outside that return from training. So I'm expecting about 150,000 Ukrainians, volunteers and troops that are trained to return and conduct the greatest counteroffensive the Ukrainians conducted since the beginning of the war, or however you want to call it. The other offensive that Ukrainians conducted in September, something like this, September, October, it was not as this one. This one will be well prepared, well organized, well equipped, and they will speak a lot of languages. And they will coordinate very well with the Ukrainian generals and commanders that will come back to them with them trained. Some of them will already have, ranks here, okay, and they will probably have different, if you know what I mean. So I'm waiting for that, and I'm 98% certain that will happen within 2 months, when every piece of aircraft, every Leopard tank and every long-range missile system will get there ready. These guys will be ready to operate them. And I have this little article here just to show you how the good people's mass media, which is us, because we decided we're the good people, and we also decided who's the bad nation or bad country, because that's what we do. They keep this little flame burning in the brain of the people below 86 IQ, because as I said many times, these people have a attention span of about 3 minutes, so you have to repeat it from time to time, so they okay, so that you have to do that, so they know when all these, I would say about at least 150,000 people will just show up to fight. They will say, yeah, I remember It was those guys. Oh, they tell us, yeah, it was those guys who trained overseas. Yes, yes, and the volunteers. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, man. Okay, so they prepared. They keep them alive. Bzz, 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 like a minimum. When your engine is idling, that's how you keep them idling. And when you start, then is bringing these guys in. So let's see what this article that's supposed to keep our attention and keep the flame going, or the engine idle, comes from Reuters. Hundreds of foreign soldiers to help train Ukrainian troops in Germany, General says. That is for us to understand that there are already hundreds, could be, I don't know, like, let's say 300 hundreds, you know what I mean? So 300 hundreds, that's about 300,000, right? But instead of saying thousands, say hundreds. Now hundreds could be 200s, could be 50 hundreds, could be 3,000 hundreds, could be a million hundreds, you know what I mean? But they tell us hundreds, so they don't look too idiotic for the below 86 IQ humanoids. Of foreign soldiers to help train Ukrainian troops in Germany. So if anybody else from any other country that is a bad country comes and you might read about it or hear about it. Hey, they're getting together in Germany, all these mercenaries and the national troops, real military of Canada or Germany or France, or they get together over there. Now you know that's just soldiers volunteering and helping. Then they're not gonna come to Ukraine. Promise you. Cross my heart, hope to die right now and then 2 times, okay? So let's go back here to these weasels. Remember, this is my interpretation of this, but the way I know all this little hanky-panky, I would not, as I said, I'm 98% certain we will have a big army of volunteers in about a month and a half, maybe 2. So, German military instructors teaching some 1,000 troops how to use Western tanks and other arms will soon be reinforced by several hundred specialists from other countries, the head of the Special Training Command said on Wednesday. We are talking about some 30 to 50 troops from Norway and several hundreds from Netherlands, Lieutenant General Andreas Marlow told Reuters in an interview at his headquarters in the town of Strasbourg, near Berlin, adding he was aiming for further contributions from other nations. Yes, and I'm quoting, I hope we will be able to put all these things, the contributions, put it as armies or this kind of troops. They're not Ukrainian troops, the other ones, this kind of troops here, as military, okay, not, just people who want to help, All right, I hope we will be able to convince more partners to support us, he said, noting that first additional trainers are expected to arrive by the end of March. Oh my God. Why? Because in half March probably, or April, they have the counteroffensive? I don't know, I'm just thinking. Marlow's Special Training Command is part of European Union military mission set up in November to train up to 30,000 Ukrainian troops in various skills to help Kiev fight off Russia's year-old invasion. This is just over there or something, but there's other centers as well. You gotta find out down here. Courses in various European countries range from basic training to the operation of modern battle tanks such as Leopard 2, air defense systems, rocket launchers, and howitzers. So far, some 1,500 mainly German soldiers have been handling the training in Germany, with the goal of completing courses for some 9,000 or more Ukrainians by the end of 2023. Poland is another major training hub, while Spain, France, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Romania, and Italy are also running courses. Beyond the EU mission, US and British troops are training Ukrainian troops in Europe as well. While public discussions over the past few months have focused on whether or not the West would supply tanks to Ukraine, the instructors in Germany stress the importance of all weapons acting in concert. Such warfare, described by the military as combined arms operations, is seen as a strength of NATO forces in contrast with Russia's military that experts say bets on strength from sheer numbers of troops and weapons. And I'm quoting, "We see tanks and infantry fighting vehicles as inseparable twins that go into battle together with the support of others, such as artillery, engineers, or air defense systems," said Marlow. Only this mix creates the synergies that give us an advantage over someone who is using their troops without this kind of orchestration, he added, noting that a tank operating alone was vulnerable to attacks by infantry with anti-tank weapons approaching the vehicles, blah blah blah. And the Russians are dumb and they don't know anything. So this is just something that get us used to idea that, hey, in our back of the head, we know that at least 30,000 Ukrainian, they will be training there, and there will be many countries with their military personnel training these guys. And when all these guys, or just the Ukrainians, will return to Ukraine with all the weapons in fantastic shape, they will just run the counteroffensive and will get the Russians gone, okay, gone to Vladivostok. Remember, we will talk about this in about, if you're going to be around, because I plan on being around, in about 2 months. If the Russians, with this counteroffensive or whatever offensive they are conducting, or they will start conducting it in about 1 or 2 or 3 days, because what's right now I think is just a pre-offensive, because if this is the offensive, this is, you know what I mean? Then if the Russians are not breaking the front and advancing seriously to wherever they want to end, then we're going to have the big army of the good conducting its counteroffensive with all these things, and we'll see that will be the time when everything is going to be determined, and that would be probably in April, something like this, or when the birds start chirping and the grass turns green. All right, so thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.